Last year, I attended Dubai AI Week 2024, and the conversations were mainly around generative AI, meaning that they were talking about how can we use tools like DALI, Midjourney, and ChatGPT 3 and 4 for our businesses and life in general. This year, the conversation is much different. They were talking about AI agents and how they can operationalize businesses and processes and workflows within a business. That being said, in this video, I want to show you exactly what I found out and the insights I got by attending Dubai AI Week. This week, there are multiple events happening also later on, which I'm going to attend. But I'm going to give you my insights and where, as a business owner or entrepreneur or someone who sells AI or automations to other people, how can you take advantage and position yourself in order to thrive in such an opportunity that we have with AI happening right now? That being said, let's jump in. So stop selling automations and AI and start building ecosystems through worlds and machines. So in this video, we're going to cover three things. Point number one is, where do we stand today globally in terms of AI? What's the market sophistication right now? And why most people right now I see are selling the wrong things to wrong people? And point number two is where the real money right now is in terms of AI, the budgets, and how can you tap into those deep pockets and get clients, essentially, because this was one of the top questions I got in my previous videos. And point number three is how me and you can capture this big opportunity and position ourselves to be leaders in this space. That being said, let's get into this video. So I want to just quickly take you through a timeline over here. Last year, this time exactly, I attended an event called AI Week 2024. And there was Dubai AI Festival, as you can see over here. I gave a couple of talks, and this was a Dubai Assembly and so on. And this year it's happening, the same thing is happening. But let me give you just a brief of the topics and the themes and what I saw last year and what I see the shift happening this year and what I expect the shift to be next year. So last year, the talks mostly were about generative AI. They were talking about GPT 3 and 4, Midjourney, DALI. How can we use Photoshop to fix AI, things with AI, images with AI, and so on? They were showing deep fake examples and so on. So this was essentially what was happening last year. How can you use AI as a tool to be more productive? This year, I went to this event yesterday, and there are a couple more events happening throughout this week, which I'm going to attend as well. And I'm going to update you with what I see and what I find. But they were talking about business agents, operationalizing processes and workflows within businesses, automations, and so on. There's a couple of pictures that I took as well, as you can see, and it was mostly talking about, and if you look at the titles of the talks as well, they mostly name AI agents. How can we use AI agents to do XYZ and so on? I'm going to show you that in a bit. And next year, what I expect is we move to institutional AI based on the speed we are moving, where we have AI native enterprises, governments, and policies. And you can see a quote over here by Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Vice President and Prime Minister of the UAE and ruler of Dubai, mentioning that we want the UAE to become the world's most prepared country for AI. So we are pushing forward as a country, and our role and duty is to contribute in any way possible and push, as well as our leaders have set the vision for Dubai and the UAE to move in that direction. And there was this report also that it was mentioned, AI 2027. I highly recommend you read it as well. We are somewhere over here right now. As you can see, we have superhuman AI remote workers, superhuman AI researchers, superhuman coders, and you can see throughout the years how this is expected to evolve and where could we be by 2027, 2028. So look at their, go read this article, is very useful, so you know where we're moving at. And this was based on all the sessions that are running this week. Some of them still did not happen, but as you can see, I organized them over here. These are a bunch of topics that they're talking about right now. And since it's a topic of discussion and questions people are asking, this is where the state of everything is at. And there are countries as well, as you can see, they're talking about different and how do they see AI happening and how do they see AI coming into their businesses at the country level and so on. So, but now let me give you 5 points that I was able to extract yesterday. I've spent a full day at the event yesterday, and I'm going to be going as well to different events this week. But I spent the full day talking to people, talking to startups, talking to businesses, attending workshops and master classes. So let me give you the top 5 things that I realized as I was talking to people and so on. And I'm going to show you exactly where the gaps are in case you want to sell something, in case you want to do something, in case you want to understand what's the full landscape right now at the global level and at the day-to-day level of that worker that is working right now, doing his job or her job, and doesn't know anything about AI. So, where do we stand today? Point number one, what I realized is that there was this big shift from AI helps you think to AI gets things done for you. Essentially, Chat GPT, I prompt you, give me an answer, to AI gets things done for you, AI agents. And keywords I used and I heard yesterday were agentic AI, agents among us, Copilot, AI assistant, AI powered organizations. So, this is the language shift that we see. So, if you're creating YouTube videos or you're talking to people and so on, you want to talk to them in the same language, these are the keywords are being used right now. This was not the case last year. There were trust issues with AI agents and AI doing things by themselves and so on. So, that's point number one. Point number two, there were a lot of talks about what will an AI do and what will humans do? Will my job be taken over by AI? What's the future of work looking like in this case? What do leaders do in this case? Because we depend on soft skills and we do things at a strategic level and so on. So these were questions people were asking as well in terms of talent. Will I lose my job or not? What jobs will be lost? How can I prepare at the capacity level in terms of replacing those jobs and actually being prepared for it. Point number three is YouTube is talking about automating emails and vibe coding. We've seen the videos. This is how you build a scraper, YouTube scraper. This is how you automate your Gmail. This is how you build your personal assistant and so on. And the reason I kind of avoid that because there are more important things on the ground level because I run a business and as a business owner, okay, it's nice to automate emails, but why are we automating email? And is this just to look cool and hold with or go with the AI wave? Or is it because we need it and actually there's an ROI in our business for it? So things people were talking about yesterday were AI in billing, which is accounting and so on, AI in security, AI in governance, digital government, AI in recruitment, the day-to-day tasks, those routine repetitive tasks. How do we add AI in that exactly? So I think there should be a filter over here. And I think if you're going after business owners or people who really want to use AI in business or corporate settings or even governmental settings, they want to see the ROI first before we talk about AI. Because I'm going to come to a point that because one of the challenges that is on ground right now, which is a bit below this slide over here, but I'm going to come to that point. But they really care how can I solve my current day-to-day problems right now while headed in that direction. So this is point number three. Point number four is sector focused use cases in highly regulated industries are taking off. So AI is really taking off in highly regulated industries and very vertical focused. For example, if you look at a niche, if it's highly regulated and they have a lot of processes and workflows within which are very time sensitive and cost sensitive and so on. I was at one of the workshops yesterday, which was about aviation in particular and space because I love space. And yeah, they were talking about how can we ch- decrease the minutes between flight transitions or get the catering packages in and decrease the flight delays. That will save us millions. So they're talking about these things. And in terms of security aspects, because they're highly regulated, they're looking how can we assess the biometrics of an individual while he's at the airport or and look at that person through the camera and know whether we can board this person or not. So these are things that they were talking about yesterday, and they were talking by big companies as well. So this is point number four. Point number five is global institutions are starting to regulate, yes, but there's no consensus yet. The discussions are mainly around okay, how can we regulate this? What's the IP? Who owns the IP of certain things? For example, this Studio Ghibli thing that came out. This is a big. It was fun. Let's just agree. It was fun, yes, but this is a big discussion as well in terms of Studio Ghibli saying, okay, this is our style, our work. How can we go after you now? Are you allowed to use it or not? Who do we go after, and so on. So this is another discussion by itself. So because and that the reason is because we don't have consensus yet. So these are the top five topics that I heard yesterday, going on and on and on, and being repeated as themes in every workshop and discussion I had. So this is where we stand today. So if we want to summarize this and make use of this information over here, we have moved from AI as something we use to AI as something that runs for us. And people would buy something from you, or an AI from you, or a tool or whatever you create from you, if it's something that will run for them and not something they will use, because they don't want something that they buy it off of you and they go and keep on clicking buttons to make it work. That was last year. This year is more of, I don't want to click the buttons, bring that tool and bring an AI that use that tool for me. So essentially, people don't want to use tools anymore. They want to use tools, or they want tools that use other tools to get the job done. And this is the takeaway I got yesterday. And this is where the real money lies. So if you're selling something like an content creator, where you need to, a content creator agent, let's say, or YouTube creator agent, faceless YouTube short form agents that we see on YouTube as well, people talking about, by clicking that button, add these files, put this database, put your voice, put XYZ and so on, and click it every single day, every time you want to launch a YouTube and so on. People don't want that. They want something that does it for by itself. And I'm going to come to exactly their terminology and what they told me as we come to the bottom part over here. So the real money is over here, and that's where we all should be headed as business owners and entrepreneurs and people selling to business owners and entrepreneurs, because that's where the direction they are headed at. So now let's look at it at a very individual level. So I separated them this way: as solopreneurs, small businesses, corporates, and governments. What are they saying in terms of, let's say, in one statement, what can we say they're saying about AI? The solopreneurs are saying, I want to save time, I want productivity, I want to automate stuff because I don't have the money right now. I'm not making that much money and I'm starting out, and I just want to use AI and automate stuff to save money and save costs. The small businesses are saying, we need to use AI or we're going to get left behind by that competitor on the other side, because they're going to use AI for certain things and they're going to get more clients and they're going to retain the clients they have. That makes less clients for us. So that's where they're thinking right now in terms of small business owners. And in terms of corporates, they're saying, okay, we're experimenting with these AI tools right now, but we have no clue, like, how will it work, and where does AI go in? Where does automation go in? Because me and you know, most things can be solved with automation and not everything needs AI crammed into it. But they're experimenting to see where does AI fit within the processes that are running right now without destroying or disrupting the business processes or workflows they have right now. And in terms of the governmental sectors, they say AI is critical for moving to the next step as a nation. And how do we scale this? How do we use it for better experience or citizen experiences? And how can we look at the legal terms around this and so on? So that's in terms of what they are saying. With each sector, you can go in and build your business around that or use it within your business. But you need to understand there are challenges with every individual over here where you need to overcome. And that's where the sales objections come, where you need to overcome if you're going to sell to any of these sectors over here. So let's see what they pay for each. And I'm going to tell you the challenges on what I heard yesterday. So one is these people, the solopreneurs, would pay for speed, productivity, and simplicity. They don't want a complex system. They don't want to even be tech savvy. They just want to click, or they just want something that runs for them and they're done. They want a template. They want writing agents. They want something schedulers to update them every single day about certain tasks and so on. Those are examples. For small businesses, they want more sales. They want client retention, and they're looking at potentially firing a couple of people because of their problems they have, because they don't like managing with people, or they hired the wrong person and so on. So they're looking at CRM agents, onboarding agents. For example, what happens when once someone pays up to the onboarding or whatever process we have in place? What do we do with client support based on the questions and the support tickets we're getting and so on? So this is what small businesses care about. In corporates, they want efficiency, they want reporting, they want process optimization, they want to automate certain pipelines, they want reporting agents over here to give them reports of what's happening within the business. And essentially because these people are paying big consultancy firms as well. I'm not going to mention names, but they're dealing with them. They're taking in millions. They're paying in millions to give them a strategy that they want to put in place, and they're looking, how can we put this in place now, and how can we actually uh, execute on what strategy you have given us. So this is where AI would come in, and what they would love to see in terms of operating processes and optimizing workflows. But I'm going to give you a live example as well, where I was asked for a certain particular task as well. So government entities, as I mentioned, they want scale, citizen experience, and legal things around it, basically regulatory, AI, HR agents, billing systems, and so on. So this is what each one cares about, and you can see how much each one is willing to pay and the price they're willing to pay. So optimizing for price as well is very important. So let me give you now a couple of examples just to drive this point home, is that if you're headed towards solopreneurs, you need to understand that these people don't have that much money, and they don't understand the use case that they'll use AI for. They understand two things. AI is here. People are using AI. There's this AI train that's running at 400 miles per hour, and they're just crawling their way on the road, seeing AI running. They want to catch up to it. They have no clue what to do, and they don't know the power of AI, which is point number two, in terms of what will I use AI for. I know that I use AI right now to ask it whether the weather is nice, or what will the weather be in this month, or will I travel, should I travel to Scotland or to Switzerland, whatever it is. These are questions they're asking AI, but they don't know the exact business use case on ground. So they don't value it that much. If they don't understand it, they don't see the value in it, they don't value it that much. So the best thing you could do, put a monetary value to a certain task at a task level. I've talked about this in other videos. I'm going to link it below. But at a task level, put a monetary value to that and say, this is an AI. It's taking over this task. This task costs you $700 per month. This is an AI doing it for $1 per month. So this, now they see a monetary value. Then you put a time value to it, and you put the other couple of values, and they're like, okay, I see now the use case. So a lot of education and awareness goes into here. And that's why we have this price and so on. For small businesses, they want AI, but they don't trust it yet. And they don't differentiate between what is AI and what is IT. And this was a very valid question I got by an individual, saying that, what is the exact difference between AI and IT? Because at my job right now, we're getting emails about AI in the IT department, and the AI department are angry because we're getting emails in the IT department. So we need to go to a workshop, all of us as a team, and see the difference between IT and AI, so we don't get requests and mix these things up. So they're getting these two things up. And where you see this, a bigger problem is in corporates, where they're saying, okay, this is a problem we have. And this is a real problem, by the way. This is a problem we have. We have 500 emails every single day to this account. Now, which of these emails can we automate in terms of the responses and tell them, okay, you need to fill up a form, or this is the answer to it, and so on? And how can we use the material of certain, let's say, images or events we're doing in the AI week, and put that all into social media channels and so on? So their questions is more on the automation side and not AI, but they think that is AI's job and not automation. So there's this blurry gap between these two over here that needs to be clear, and then you identify the value, then you can deliver the value on them. And in terms of governmental, that's a big scale project. I highly suggest you look at the national vision of the country or the government you're going after. You see, okay, where's the government going? What's the KPIs that need to be hit in the next 10 years? And how can you contribute to that, given but you'll be working with these people? So if you want to work with the big fish here over here and look at the small fish, what you can do is you can look at the national vision. What's the strategy? Look at a very individual level, how can we achieve that strategy in 10 years, and contribute to solopreneurs, small businesses, corporates, to achieve that governmental vision. And that's what I am doing in Ciola. So I'm giving you exactly what I'm doing. I've looked at it this way, and the reason I'm attending these events, I'm just looking at the landscape, what's happening, in order to, how can I position my business? And this is how you could position your business as well, is we always look long term, which is the governmental entities, 10-year plus, where are they headed? What are the KPIs? What is the capacity needs to build? What is everything they've set in place, the vision, the strategy, and initiatives? And then we look at the solopreneur, small businesses, and corporate levels. How can I use these or sell here or contribute in this area to achieve the bigger goal? So this is just the thinking process that I'm thinking about right now, which brings us to the worlds and machines model. And this is the exact model I am using in order to position myself with everything. But I would also suggest and highly suggest, because I've proven this model, the worlds model in particular, I used to call it word building, and for the past 2 years with clients and so on. And it works really, really well, where you build a world around yourself, which is your business, and it has your systems, which is the automation part, your systems, and your personality and vibe within that model. And that's why you attract people to you. And then you have the machine side, which is the tasks that are being taken over by AI and also automation as well. There's a mix and merge over here. So how everything works is essentially you are at the core of this model, and you build a world around yourself, which is a problem you're solving. So you're always solving this one problem, this one outcome, and you're at the center of this problem, basically, word that you have built. And your vibe, your personality, and the way you solve this problem, what values and principles you have, and what you believe in will define how your solution looks. That's point number one, and will attract certain people around you. And once you attract certain people around you, they go through stages. First of all, they're complete strangers. Then, through a certain system and a machine, they become leads. And then, through another system and a machine, a convergent system, they become customers. And then, through another system, they become clients. And then, clients become case studies. And they keep on going over and over again, because once you have case studies, now you have proof that you can do the job, your thing works, your solution works. And then you can feed it back to the strangers to get more leads, customers, clients, and so on. Essentially, you're building the business side of things, and you're using AI employees around you to help you push forward. Because right now, we live in an age where this is possible. This was not possible in the past. But right now, this is very, very possible. And I highly suggest and recommend every single individual, no matter if it's a solopreneur or a business owner or an entrepreneur, whatever it is, even employees, to actually look at building your world with your personality and vibe, because it's the easiest it has been throughout all the years we've been alive. To summarize, there are three things you need to be clear on. Point one is you need to understand the market sophistication. Where is the market at right now? Because there's a huge gap between what you see online and what you see in the news and what people are doing on ground. So you need to understand what that gap is and talk in the language of the people on ground, but always strive and move towards the people who want that big vision and so on. And I explained to you the example over here if you go back a bit in the video. So that's point number one. Point number two is you need to understand the language and their mentality, how much they're willing to pay, and how much they value every single service or application or AI or automation that you provide, in order to know, okay, these are my people. There are this many that exist within the world, and this is who I'm going to target, and this is how I'm going to make my money out of this until I grow and the world reaches to the point where we are. So we're always, as business owners, solving for this gap. And this gap is where they are, where they need to be, and you're in the middle solving the problems to get them and make that gap smaller. So that's point number two. And point number three is build your world from now around you with your personality and vibe. People talk about authenticity and personal branding, but we can see that nothing is personal about personal branding, because they don't put that personality and style and vibe in it, because they're too scared of people judging them. But I highly suggest and recommend you to build your world around your personality and your vibe. You're going to find your tribe as you do that, and add machines within the system and around you to help you to do so, because it's easiest as it's ever been in the past and in any year you ask. That being said, stay tuned for my next video, because I'm going to be going to more events and giving you updates on what I see and where I see, or what I see we can use for our business and grow as business owners and entrepreneurs.